It's the Ryan Ramblin' Preacher Man, and we are back with another episode. So last time we had, hey, salvation's great, but now what? Well, the now what is joining God's holy army. But the thing is, we never talked about how do you fight? How do you war? So I'm thinking about that, saying, Preacher Man, how you gonna leave us in the dark like that? You tell us to join an army and you're gonna teach us to fight? What? Well, glad I provoked a thought. Stick around for another episode. Hope it does us some good. So as we know, in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, it states that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So you're telling me that the 12 gauge and my 9mm not really going to serve me too well? That is indeed what I'm telling you. It's not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So what's our weapons? Well, we're going to have to let the Bible tell us. And that's going to come out of Ephesians chapter 6. So Ephesians chapter 6, verses 12 through, I do believe, 19, states this. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints, and for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. So what I would like to do in this particular video is to break down Ephesians chapter 6 in a little bit greater detail and compare spiritual things with spiritual things as we're ought to do, right? So we're going to compare the Word of God with the Word of God and kind of get a little bit better of a picture of what the whole armor of God and the weaponry really is. So we know in Ephesians chapter 6, and this is going to be in verse 14, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Now, when we go to 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13, we get a little bit greater of a context here. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind. Now, remember in Corinthians, where it says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down every imagination, right? Casting down every imagination that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. Okay. It's in the mind. Let's pay attention. Be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So we know in Ephesians, it talks about, stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth. The loins of your mind girt about with truth. Okay? And having on the breastplate of righteousness. The breastplate of righteousness. Now in Ephesians, it tells us to put on the breastplate of righteousness, right? 1 Thessalonians 5:8. We're going to use this twice. We're going to use this for the helmet of salvation and the breastplate of righteousness. But let us, who are of the day, be sober. Be sober. Kind of going back to Peter. Putting on the breastplate of faith and love. The breastplate of righteousness. The breastplate of faith and love. Righteousness, faith, and love. And for a helmet, the hope of salvation. Breastplate of righteousness, faith, and love. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So in Isaiah 52:7, it's going to give us a little bit of a context as far as the preparation, or the feet, have your shod feet with the preparation of the gospel. And we're also going to see Romans quote from the same area. So now we are going to be in Isaiah 52:7. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy God reigneth. Okay? So, how beautiful are the feet of him who publisheth the gospel. Where am I going to go to? 10, I do believe? Where am I at? Right here. Romans 10, yes. We're going to do Romans 10, 13 through 15. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace, and bring glad tidings of good things. So then we see, and I'll actually give you another one, and they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah saith, Lord, who hath believed our report? Right? This is preaching the gospel. Now how do you preach the gospel? Well, first of all, you have to have the loins of your mind girded about with truth. The truth of the scriptures. Right? You got to have a breastplate of righteousness, faith and love. So you have to have truth in your mind, faith and love, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel. Well, how do you prepare for the gospel? It's the word. It's studying the word. Being in the word. Publishing the gospel. How beautiful are the feet of him that publisheth the gospel. Wow. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the devil. Now, what I really want to do with this one, if it'll let me, I'm only going to do a little bit of this. This is going to be Hebrews 11, and there's a lot of illustrations for faith I could use. Hebrews 11 is probably going to be the best one, and really by rights, I'm just going to randomly, as my eyes pick up some of these verses, I'm just going to read them. And I'll call out the verse before I go. Verse 4, by faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. 8, by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. 9, by faith he sojourned in a land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. 11, through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. 17, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. 29, by faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians, assaying to do, were drowned. 33, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions. 34, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. I'd say faith is pretty important, pretty strong. Not only that, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the devil, of the wicked. I said devil. 17, and take the helmet of salvation. The helmet of salvation. 1 Thessalonians 5:8 talks about the salvation, hope of salvation, the helmet of the hope of salvation. Protects the head, but once again, salvation. It's protecting the mind because you're ceasing from all of your works. You are ceasing from yourself. Walk in the Spirit. Don't fulfill the lust of the flesh. Don't walk after the flesh. Your flesh is carnal. It's lustly. It's fleshly. It's that old man. Put the old man to death. Got to do it every single day. Every single day. You wake up in the morning, put the old man to death. Crucify him. Crucify him. Crucify him. Crucify him on the cross of Jesus. Crucify him. Put on the new man. Walk in the Spirit. Walk in the power of the Spirit. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. And that'll bring us to our next passage, which is going to be in Hebrews, I want to say 4:3. I'm almost going to quote it from memory, but I'd rather. And I fibbed. It was not verse 3. It is going to be verse 12. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. For the word of God is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. So, have your loins girded about with truth, the loins of your mind girded about with truth. Have on the blessed breastplate of righteousness, which is faith and love. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Take that truth that you have, and that faith and that love, stay in the Word, and go out and publish and preach. Go without the camp. Go without the camp. Publish the gospel. Preach the Word. Be instant, in season, and out of season. Above all, taking the shield of faith and the sword of the Spirit. So how are we going to fight? On our knees. On our knees, in prayer. Constant prayer. Well, what's our weapon then? It's also a mighty, mighty sword. Why? Because it guards your mind. It gives you ultimate truth. It lets you see. Revelation 19 talks about how the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. It's the testimony of Jesus Christ. What were prophets? They were seers. They were able to see. Guard your mind. It'll enable you to see. It'll enable you to see far. It'll protect you. Sword of the Spirit. And stay in prayer. Go out and evangelize. Spread the gospel. Love. Through love. Righteousness. Through love and faith. That's how we're going to fight. Much love, guys. God bless.